The fire aliens in the Ben 10 series are almost just as iconic as the main character himself. But the question that pops up to me is, which of the many fire aliens is the strongest? We'll be doing a tier list of all the fire aliens in the Omnitrix to see which alien is the best of the bunch. Now this list isn't just aliens with the ability of pyrokinesis, but even the slightest bit related to heat generation will be considered. So it will just be focusing on aliens whose ability to control and manipulate heat or fire is the best in the Omnitrix. Starting at the bottom of the list, we have Guy. Now this alien is an opticoid from the planet Citra. Being first seen in the epic movie Ben 10 Secret of the Omnitrix, he has a long list of abilities outside of his fire proficiency, almost as if he was some sort of elemental with 360-degree vision. He possesses the ability to shoot a green fire from his eyes, as we saw in the episode The Ultimate Heist, where he tried to 1v1 negative Ultimate Humongosaur. Now, as impressive as this is, coupled with all of the other things he can do, I would definitely say his fire proficiency is pretty low, as this is a pretty weak attack. Along with Guy's other abilities, such as his ability to shoot lasers or to freeze his opponents, it really overshadows his pyrokinetic powers, hence why he is in the E tier, as his fire abilities are pretty basic. Rising up to the D tier is the ultimate alien, Ultimate Big Chill. First seen in the episode Hit 'Em Where They Live, he debuted with the killer line, "Fire so cold, it burns." Ultimate Big Chill does possess his own margin of pyrokinetic abilities, being able to shoot ice flame blasts at his targets that also freezes them, along with ice flames being shot from his hands. This makes him an alien shoo-in for replacing Shoto Todoroki from the series My Hero Academia. These abilities aren't quite enough to consider him a master of the pyrotechnics. Reason being is that even though his fire-based attacks are wider than that of Guy's, just being able to do fire blasts from different parts of his body isn't really a big step for fire proficiency, as these abilities are still very much basic. Along with his lack of feats, being only able to take down a few fodder characters like Volcanus and a few Ripjaws underwater on their home planet, all of this combined will land him in the D tier. Joining Big Chill in the D tier is the Methanosian transformation, Swampfire. Now this alien is amazing and overall one of my favorite aliens of all time. Introduced in the very first episode of Alien Force as the first ever transformation with the recalibrated Omnitrix, he has a special place in my heart, but let's talk about his fire proficiency. Beyond his mostly plant-based abilities, Swampfire possesses the very base of pyrokinetics. This includes heat generation, the ability to throw fireballs, and fire generation as well. Now, these are pretty basic fire abilities, similarly to what Ultimate Big Chill can do. He has feats of taking down multiple opponents such as Kevin, Manny, and Helen, but I personally wouldn't count his fire abilities as a tantamount part of his victory. And in some cases, it even made things worse.
Ben, don't shoot fireballs! This tunnel is full of methane!
Full of what?
Rising up to the more average of the bunch, we have the C tier, where I'll be placing the Pripyatosian B transformation, NRG. Now, I'll be grading his form in the suit and outside the suit separately, because both are almost like two different transformations. First appearing in the episode Too Hot to Handle, NRG's suit mode comes in as one of the most versed fire and radiation manipulators in the Omnitrix. Possessing abilities like radioactive energy blasts, a staple technique, he also has the abilities of heat generation, whether from himself or to a targeted location, and he can cause artificial lava eruptions along with having fire immunity. This fire control puts him above the other aliens on this list, as he is able to manipulate it in a more fine-tuned way. However, his out-of-suit form takes a place above him. Energy out of suit mode wins out because of his diversity of his projectiles, not just being able to shoot his radioactive blast through the slits in his face like he's Cyclops, but he can also manifest and shoot energy balls, along with having all the abilities of energies when he's inside the suit. He has the power to consume energy as well, which isn't quite a fire proficient ability, but this also means he is not just immune to fire, but he can absorb fire as well. This places energy out of suit mode firmly in tier B. Now moving up to the A tier, we have OmniKick's Heat Blast. First being seen in the episode Funhouse, he possesses most of the similar abilities of the Primetime Heat Blast, having a huge backpack of tricks and abilities. This armored Pyro Knight has the abilities of pyrokinetic blasts, flight, and of course, fire-based lasers as well. A huge drawback, besides the normal heat blast weaknesses, is his ability to lose his fire from exhaustion, making his fire proficiency very stamina based. This places him in A tier and not S tier, as the weaknesses he has isn't a problem for the higher tiers. And now, the piece de resistance, the S tier. Firstly, we have OmniEnhanced Heat Blast. First seen in the episode Bon Voyage, he is Heat Blast fused with fulminic DNA like the rest of the aliens in the Watch at that time. He possesses a long list of pyrokinetic abilities such as Fireball Generation and a pyrokinetic flight ability. And of course, he has an electro-pyrokinesis ability, a combination of fire and electricity control. This lands him in S tier because his fire control is superb and only rivaled by the other alien on this tier, which is Heat Blast, the original fireman of the Omnitrix, first seen in the episode, and then there were 10. He has some of the best pyrokinetic abilities of any alien. He's also able to absorb fire, shoot fire blasts, along with his ability to create fire constructs as well, which we have seen done by Ben and Gwen. He isn't relegated to just being a walking flamethrower. He is fire itself. But for a tier above S tier, where only one alien resides at the top, this alien is going to be Hotshot, a mutant Pyro Knight from the Antitrix, first seen in the episode Witch Watch. He has all the same pyrokinetic abilities as the aforementioned Heat Blast, but in an odd way, because of his mutation, his fire burns hotter than everyone else's on this list, being able to do serious damage to Vaxasaurians, an alien species that has an innate fire resistance. I would firmly place this mutant concoction of Pyro Knight and unknown DNA at the peak of the fire-based aliens, not just because of his versatility, but his intensity as well. But what do you think? Do you agree with this tier list? Comment down below and subscribe for more.